Okay, I think this is gonna work. I'm so sorry if you have been trying to watch and this has been a little silly, um, but it has been the evening of technical difficulties. So, anyway, thank you for joining. And for those of you who are watching this after the live, it makes no sense what I'm saying, but I've had to restart this 3 times now. So, anyway. um, so I'm going to let some folks come in and then we will get started. And while we're waiting, if you have not downloaded the Devo that I'm talking about, which is this one right here, this is where you'll need to go and grab it. Okay? All right. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I see that some girls are watching, some friends are watching right now, so let's go ahead and get started on everything. And I am Tanya Hamilton, Messy Bible. I'm so glad to be joining you here today on Facebook Live for a fun Bible journaling with my latest devotional with Illustrated Faith, which is called Be Bold and Expectant, based on Rahab, and with lovely artwork by Emily Karwoski. I love her. I love her lettering. I love her just vision, and thank you, thank you, thank you for WordFetty. Always makes me happy to see that. So, if you're in the room right now, would you please say hello so I know who's joining me and I can chat with you? Because I love our little community and I love what the time we get to spend together. So that's the Devo we're going to be doing. I did want to mention that in Revival Camp that's going on right now, if you have the kits, I hope you're joining in with us on that. This is my little booklet for Revival Camp, and Shauna wrote Devotional 1. I wrote the second one. I haven't done my stuff in here yet. Janet wrote this one right here, which is where we are this week with fellowship. So I hope you're joining in with us on that. Even if you weren't able to get the kit, you can still, through Illustrated Faith, through their website, read the devotionals and journal along with us. So I hope that you'll do that and join us, because I think you'll be blessed by all the devos from the girls. Let's see, what else do I need to share with you? Okay, one more thing I want to make sure that you know. This class that I wrote and taught with Illustrated Faith, Power-Filled Prayers, is still available for the sale price of $10. If you've not purchased this, this is a great time to get it while it's still on sale. So make sure you grab that. It goes along really well with my devotional that I wrote for Revival Camp. So one thing that when I went to journal here for Joshua 2, it's pretty much taken up. This page was actually from my Power-Filled Prayers class, and this was a page that I did July 31st of last year, right before my daughter left for Africa. So this is done. I really have no room to add anything more to these pages. So I'm going to have to be a bit creative in journaling for this. I didn't give you really another alternative for journaling. So, hi Sherry. Oh, thank you. Welcome. I didn't give you another verse or anything. It's just really Joshua 2, the story of Rahab. There are no Bible stories about our dog Mary, unfortunately, even though she's just too adorable for words. And she's who I mentioned here. So, gonna have to figure out a little something different. I have other Bibles that I journal in, but this is where I'm at right now. So, I feel like I'm going to do something really off rails for myself today. I don't even know at this point what it is, so that's kind of scary for me that I don't know what it is, but it's going to be fun whenever we do. So I'm just right now looking in I have a little drawer here on my desk, and it has some journals and things like that I have used in the past to journal in. And so I'm looking in here to see if there's just anything that stands out as something that I might want to use to journal this. And so this is okay, that's cute Mary. Apparently she wants to be a part of the story today, even if she's not here. You know, in picture with us. She's here in voice. So I've got this cute little hymnal that I got from my friend Amy, who's Mommy Muddling on Instagram. And it doesn't have the music, it just has the lyrics. And I've looked through and I couldn't find anything that I just like, oh, I want to do that hymn. So anybody have some hymns or anything that you can think of that would be about expectancy? Maybe I could go to the Psalms, because I know the Psalms talk about being expectant. So let's all play along and create this Bible page together. This is the page I did for my Devo for Revival Camp. Let's see. This is another page from Power-Filled Prayers, the bonus class. Anybody? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do one of my favorite verses if I haven't already done it. Just thought of it. Right here. So I'm going to do Psalm 130, verse 5. This is one of my favorite verses. It is, it reads, and this is new ESV, I wait for the Lord, my soul waits, and in his word I hope. My soul waits for the Lord more than watchmen for the morning, more than watchmen for the morning. O Israel, hope in the Lord, for with the Lord there is steadfast love, and with him is plentiful redemption. So it's really the thing that stands out to me most is the waiting. So the expectancy, there is a waiting and an expectancy, and that's where I'm talking about in the story of Rahab. And I talk about our little pup Mary, and I want to show you, I went ahead and printed on some clear sticker page some pieces from this, and this is a little drawing I did of Mary a while back, and it's just a little sketch of that cute little pup, and she's got a little snaggletooth on one side, so it always looks like she's grinning. And so I'm going to be using her and the window and the expectancy. So let's get started. Now that I have some direction and a page to go, I was trying to be prepared, but I kept having technical difficulties. So, you know, those things happen. So my vision for this page today is to take this little picture of Mary and trim it out and put it in this window and put that on the page. What is so amazing, and I just feel like this is completely the Lord, as I was trying to figure out where to go, he put that verse in my heart, just right there. And when you look up the word wait in Scripture, it can mean several different things, but I wait for the Lord, my soul waits. That wait is actually like a linger. I'm just hanging about. And in his word do I hope, and that word hope is an expectant hope. It's not a wishy-washy hope like we often use in our regular everyday chatting. Oh, I hope it doesn't rain, or I hope it does rain, or whatever. We hope for things, and it's just, I call it wishy-washy, the way we hope for things. But that's not what this verse is talking about. It is a hope that is like, I'm expecting that you're going to do something, Lord. And in this case, I'm expecting that you're gonna speak to me, because that word actually means utterance, and so the psalmist is waiting for the Lord to utter something. He needs to hear the Lord speak. So I'm just trimming these out pretty close, but not right up against the edge. I try not to have sharp edges when I'm doing clear sticker paper, because I have found that really makes it show up more if there is that. So you can't tell right now because there's backing, but I'm going to put Mary's face behind that window, and it actually kind of makes sense. If you've read the devotional, I talk about how Mary is so expectant and waiting for us to give her treats. And then I talk about Rahab, and there are so many amazing things about this woman that we only get glimpses of her just a tiny little bit. Joshua 2, and then we see her name in Matthew 1, just really quick, and that's it. That, as far as I can remember, that's all we see of Rahab. Maybe she shows up in Hebrews, I can't remember. But that is enough for me to really take notice of this girl, especially since she shows up in Matthew 1, which is the genealogy of Christ. So that there's when people show up as names in the genealogy of Christ, I really take notice of them, and I want to know more about their story. And Rahab's story is a very significant one because of what she does for the Israelites. But I love the fact that she was proactive. She did not just say, you know what, I'm going to, I'll put that Scarlet Cord out later. I've got some time. The boys are, got a 3-day journey, or 3 days before I told them that they should go back. So I'm just gonna hang out a little bit, and it'll be okay. She didn't do that. She was very proactive and jumped right in and said, no, I need to go ahead and put that Scarlet Cord in the window now. All right, so right now I'm looking through my little labels that Elaine has designed. I love these little labels. These are the ones from the, these right here in my hand, are the ones from the Revival Camp set. And I'm looking to see if I can find some that really match the coloring that the devotional is. So let me grab all of them here. They've kind of fallen down in my thing. See if I have anything that I feel like, yeah, I could use either one of these or this turquoise. I think I'm going to use the turquoise so that kind of brings it together. Yeah, this is more of a color of it right here. So what I'm going to do on this, I'm going to cut it out, and then I'm going to actually trim it so that it'll go right over my passage that I'm highlighting. So I'm highlighting this Psalm 130 verse 5, and I'm going to go ahead and let 5 and 6 be part of it, and this is going to be just big enough to get both of them in there. So I'll need to trim out the insides. So I'm kind of just come in and trim. Have any of you ever used this technique before, where you take something and you like these and you just use it to highlight your passage? I think it's kind of a fun way to use these printables from the Print and Pray shop. So I'm just going to lay it right there. I'm not sure what it's going to look like when it goes all the way to the end. It looks like I've got room to squeeze it in there. Perfect. So I'll put that in there. And so that now highlights the scripture that we're focusing on, and it really makes it stand out. I like doing that. And then I have this. I could use it somewhere else on the page if I would like to. All right. I always like to put a little bit of paint and color on the page. I've got my my tabs here that I created for this, and I've got this washi that I've been trying to use on every page so that there's a little something. So the tab is really, really big. So I'll probably put it down a little bit further. I'm going to cut off, I'm just going to do this where it's not so much of a tab shape. I'm going to cut off and just round it. And then I'll have that sticking up like that. Okay. So I've got my watercolors here. This is just a Tim Holtz Distress Ink tin, and I've got 3 different sets of watercolors in. I've got my Jane Davenport, my Prima Classic, Prima Tropical, and then 3 of the Prima Pastels. I can't remember what that collection's called, but those are just from that collection, just some pastel colors. So I've got that. I've got my double chamber water pot here. Need to get some fresh water in that soon. And I'm going to grab a big old brush. This is just my favorite brushes. They're from Crayola. Just a round brush. I really enjoy these things. And I want to put a little bit of color down, but if you've watched me before, one thing I like to do is I like to put a little gesso on the page before I do this, because I feel like it makes a texture that my eyes are really happy with. So I like to do that. So I just take and squirt out a little gesso onto this is an old Starbucks gift card. And put that on there. And I'm just going to scrape some paint in different places. And usually I scrape this enough that it is still see-through. Sometimes if it gets too thick, I can just take a wet paintbrush, and while it's still wet, go ahead and move that about, and that will lighten it. So if I feel like, oh no, that got, you know, where I can't read that particular thing, I can take care of it real quickly that way. Sometimes I'm not concerned about it, but when I'm doing this white gesso, I don't know, I like to be a little bit more conservative with it. Like I said, there are pages I have done, and I have completely covered up the pages, the verses, and I'm okay. It's okay, because this is my art Bible. My study Bible that I use is not covered up that way. And that's the one I read from every day. And I think I just bought a new journaling Bible. So this is probably my number 5 journaling Bible that I have. My Bible that I journal in. I'm going to hit it with the heat tool because I do have some wet spots where I've put the water. Okay. Now, my paint card, I want to show you. My paint card has some blue paint on it from another time, and that has been kind of transferring on. I'm not going to worry about it. I think it'll all be okay. I've got my color palette here for my watercolors, and I've got this color happening on the page, I know. Let me grab this. So this is a color from the page. This color right here, this kind of a mustard or yellow ochre color, that's happening on the artwork. I have a mint color. I don't know that I have that, you know what, I think I have it in a sample. Yeah, there we go. I have a sample from my friend Angeline at Dots and Dust, and so I think I may pull that out. That might work out. And then the red and the pink. Now I'm not going to use all these colors. I just kind of like to have my whole palette, and then I get to choose from that. That pink is such a rich color. I'm not sure I'm going to go there. In fact, I may veer completely off palette here for a lot of it, and go ahead and use some blues for the sky. And you know what, since this is kind of a window, what if I made some bricks? Let's do that. Let's make some bricks. I need to be careful about where my bricks are. So what I want to do is I want to take a pencil and go ahead and decide where I want my little window to be. And I think I'm going to have my window right about here. So I'm going to mark the bottom of my window and the top of my window. That way I don't paint bricks on either side of it. And I think I want the top of my building to be about right here. So then everything above it will be sky, and then everything below will be some bricks. So let's have fun with some brick making. This is really fun and easy to do. I'm just gonna real quickly just draw some sketchy lines. Not real perfect, just a few horizontal lines. Give me an idea where I'm going. And then I'll do some bricks. So I'm gonna just do a little bit like that, and then I'll do this one, a little offset, another offset, and then down here I'm gonna do the same thing. And all the way to the bottom, I think. Okay, so those are going to be my bricks. At the top, I don't want it to just be a solid thing. I think that there should be some sort of decoration up here. So I'm going to make a short bricks like this, like they're, you're just seeing the ends of them. Okay. I'm going to get a smaller brush, and I think I'm going to get a flat brush. So just pulling out my brushes, and I'm looking for a small flat brush, like this guy right here. And I'm going to start off with a light coat, and I'm going to, let's see, I'm actually going to start and use this yellow ochre color to be the base coat. And so I'm just going to go into the paint, and I need this. I like to work with watercolor that's not necessarily in the pan, but work with it out here in the palette. This looks like a good spot for it to be, and that way I can water it down. I can take and add a little bit of brown to it, tone it back a little bit. I find that this gives me more accurate coloring if I do this than if I work straight out of the pans. When you work straight out of the pans, that water will start to dry, and so when you go back and you get water and you go at it again, you may get a different concentration. All right, so this, I'm just going to come in and I'm just kind of real loosely painting in these bricks. And I am not doing like a full wash because I want some white space. I think that it will just, I don't know, I think now in my brain it's going to look a little bit better if I leave a little bit of white space there in places. Okay. And because I put that gesso down, I'm going to have some spots that are going to be brighter and some spots are going to be lighter. Let's see here. That was the bottom of the window, wasn't it? So I need to actually put in some bricks right here. Let me do that. Alrighty. Now I'm going to come in with a little bit darker brown. And so I'm going to take a little bit more of this brown that I used before. I'm going to add it to this yellow ochre. Going to get that going. And I need to tone it back just a little bit. Now, yellow, opposite of yellow on the color wheel is purple. Opposite of orange on the color wheel is blue. So if I want to tone back yellow, I'll put a little purple into it. And that'll kind of bring it down a little bit. Not as bright, not as overpowering. The same thing, if I have a purple that's bright, I can put a little yellow and I'll tone it back. So I've got kind of a yellow orangish, in my brown tone here. So I want to bring that back a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of blue to it. And I'm going to go with this blue right here that's right next to the yellow ochre. I'm just going to get a little bit on my brush and I'm going to put it right here to the side. Just slowly work it in, tone it back, and if that wasn't enough, I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to rinse off my brush so I don't overpower my color. But what this is doing, it's muddying it a little bit more and giving me a toned back color. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm not going to necessarily just go over the same spots on this again. I'm actually going to use now a thinner round brush. This guy right here. I don't know if you need to know the numbers. I can't help you with that because most of my brushes don't have numbers on them because I don't use professional grade brushes. My Crayola brushes, they don't have numbers on them. So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to go in, and now I'm going to come in and just hit along the sides like this. I'm not covering the whole thing. I'm going up and across. So across the bottom and up to one side. And here, this one's on the end. I can't see the side of it, so I'm just going to go across the bottom. You can see that one. I'm just going to do that. And this is, you see how messy I'm being with this? I feel like the messier that you are with this, the better it's going to look in the end, because bricks are not perfect. They don't look perfect. And if we fuss with them too much, then it's not going to look right. Okay, so the bottom of this brick is kind of at the window right here especially, so I'm just going to do a little bit there. About running out, but I think I'm going to have just enough to do this layer. Watercolor is all about layers. If when you're trying to do watercolor, and you guys, you are on right now, being on YouTube, you are on the University of YouTube, or YouTube U as I call it, where I've learned just about everything I know about art stuff. I've got it from YouTube. So I'm not professionally trained other than the professionals that I've watched on YouTube. But what I know about watercolor from watching lots of watercolor artists is you want to layer and layer and layer. It's all about layers. So let's try this layer. Okay, now I'm going to add one more layer. I'm going to go back to that flat brush. I'm going to add one more layer, and this time I'm going to, let's see what color I'm going to be. I'm going to stay within the same colors that I've been using, so I'm going to use more of the brown that I used. You see how orange that brown is, but I'm going to tone it back with that blue again. I've got a real muddy gray there. I'm going to see what that looks like. Oh yeah, look at that. See how I toned that back down? I'm going to show you the original color. There's the original color. Adding that blue toned it back to that really nice brick brown there. And so I'm going to take this, and now I'm just going to put streaks across my bricks. And it, because watercolor can reactivate, it may reactivate the color underneath, and that's okay. We're just going for some fun layers. You see what I'm doing? I'm just coming across it. In this spot, I'm kind of just stamping at it. And there we go. That's going to be my bricks. Let me throw the heat tool on that before I go to the sky. And I'm going to take an eraser. And I use this eraser from Scholastic Book Fairs. And I'm just going to hit. Now, one thing about pencils and watercolor, if you watercolor over pencil, it's locked in. And so you'll not be able to erase it. But because I didn't just really wash the whole thing, most of this will be able to be erased. There'll be some that isn't, but I think it'll just add more to the texture of the bricks and the look. So I'm not going to be overly concerned about it. But see, when you remove those lines that we drew, you can see that white space, and it looks kind of like grout bag behind there. I've got a new color here, and I'm not, oh, I've got some brown on this brush. Well, that'll be. It's a light color, because my water is dirty, so it's making my my blue a little brown. I'm just going to put some of this on the back, see what happens here, just as a, tell you what, let's go for the round brush. It's a little bit of background, and now that I've got it wet, I'm just going to drop some other blue into it. I think I'm going to drop this blue right here. It's from the Jane Davenport palette. I'm not going to flood the whole thing. I'm just going to drop some places where there'll be some blue. Let's add some more. All right. I'm going to go a little bit over this way into the scripture. We'll let that be. Now, gesso's really showing up right now, but once we hang on. There we go. Oh, sorry. I forgot to plug in with all this stuff. Let's see if it picks back up. Okay. So sorry, I had a camera issue. So what I did is I just put some there, and now I'm going to use a heat tool. So by not flooding that whole area with that darker blue, I was able to create the illusion of clouds. It's always good to leave some white so you create illusions of things. Okay, so now we're ready to put down some stickers. And here's what I'm going to do with my little Mary sticker. Because I want it to be on the back of this, behind, and I'm not sure I've got a specific place that this has to be placed. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my backing off. And I'm going to get Mary in the right place here. So I'm going to do it right over here on this. There we go. And now I'll pull the backing off of her. There we go. So she's just peeking out behind that window, and I know exactly where this needs to go because I made those marks and did my bricks around it. So I'm going to start at the top and just start pushing it down towards the edges. And then there's that Scarlet Cord. Okay, and then I have this right here that says Expectantly Waiting, and my friend Emily's beautiful handwriting. I'm going to put this right up here in the sky. I've got my Change Your World tab that I want to use and my World Washi. So I want to put a little bit of the World Washi down, and then I want to adhere the other. I am a girl who loves to tear the washi, and so I tear it like this too. I'm all about tearing washi, and I'm going to put this down right here at the bottom. Crinkled up a little bit. Let's fold that. There we go. And then I'm looking to see if there's any of this. I've got my Expectantly Waiting. I think I'm going to do the I Am Hanging My Scarlet Cord, and I printed this out on white sticker paper as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab that one. And I'm going to put it across. I'm going to put it right across this. I'm going to use that to adhere it to my page. Yeah, it's sticking down really well. And for journaling, I really love this right here. This is my Scarlet Cord. I've printed it on sticker paper. And you see other things on here. It's stuff from Elaine's kit that I just tried to gather things that I thought needed to be on white paper from myself, or white sticker paper, or cardstock, whatever. So I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to do a little journaling on that talks about what's my Scarlet Cord. If the Scarlet Cord represented you know, for Rahab, that she put it out, and that was the thing to show the men, hey, that's the girl, we don't mess with her and her household. And she put that out in faith that they would come back. What am I putting out in faith? What am I putting out there? And so I'm going to do my little journaling about what my Scarlet Cord is right there on that. And this page doesn't have enough washi on it for me because I love the washi. So let me grab some washi real quick and we'll see what I can do. Okay, so I've got my ring that has a lot of browns on it, and here, let's see. Oh, I love this one right here. It's kind of a linen look to it. So I'm going to pull some of this off. And I'm actually going to tear it down the middle. And I'm going to put it right here. And then put another piece right at the bottom of that. And then, let's see, I think let's do a different color. Something different. Looking around at all the things that I printed off today, wondering if there's something else that I printed off that I might want to use. I printed off Elaine's cute kit that has all the flowers. Love that. Maybe that's enough. I don't know. If I put some more on it, you'll see it in the finished page. I have the finished page up by the end of this week on my social media outlets. I didn't end up using that color, but I think it would match really well. So if you have that in your stash, then I'd say, hey, go for it. Use it. Alrighty, so this is going to be my page for this devotional. Like I said, I may add some more to it, but for right now, that's where it's going to land. And let's see, here's the devotional. Make sure that if you haven't gotten it, that you head over to illustratedfaith.com/shop and grab that devotional while it is still free. Sorry, I'm trying to find my little thing so that you can see the website. You guys, it's like, I think the enemy was not really wanting us to have a party today. There we go. Alrighty. So, illustratedfaith.com/shop. This is where you can grab the devotional. It will be free this week through the end of this week, through Saturday the 11th. So after Saturday, August 11th, 2018, it will no longer be free, but you can still purchase it and the other devotionals that are in this series. So at this point, we have 8 in this series, all about women in the Bible who've changed their world in their boldness and how they responded. So make sure you're following me on all things social media, and you'll get to see the finished page. I'd love to interact with you there, and I just pray that you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm going to go ahead and close in prayer. So I'm going to just leave this hanging out right here. There we go. All right. Lord Jesus, thank you that we can trust you, that we can know that waiting on you isn't futile. It's worth every bit of it. It's worth every little bit of waiting for you. And I just thank you that you are so worthy of all of our praise and all of our waiting. Lord, I pray for those of us who've been waiting for a promise for a long time. And we've put that trust and that faith out there in you, knowing that that you'll accomplish things in your timing for your purpose, and it will be good. And we trust you in that, Lord. And bless your name, Lord. I pray for those who are watching right now live and those who are watching the replay. Lord, I pray blessings. I pray for just intervention where there needs to be intervention. I pray for showing off. You're showing off where there needs to be just some big and boldness in lives. Lord, I just thank you for who you are and what you do in our lives. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, girls. Well, you guys have a wonderful evening. Thanks for hanging in through all the technical difficulties that we had earlier, just even trying to get on and being there. But I think it's going to be worth it in the end to just engage with him and have this worship time together and with him. So thank you so much, and I will look forward to being with you guys again another day. Thank you.